Welcome, everybody, to episode 162 of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, you've got a small flock, but we've got me, John Kroll, and I'm joined by my favorite duck, Jody.
Hello and aloha.
Aloha, indeed. So that's a little bit of foreshadowing about what we're going to talk about tonight. But first, we didn't have a question set up yet. So while I think of a question, if everybody can go out to our Facebook page and join our Facebook group, Disney with the Ducks, and then invite some of your friends over there. That'll help, and we can grow the community and get some fun conversations going. But also, if you can give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts, that would really help us out. And look, Jody's so excited. There's fireworks going off. Fireworks! Just the thought of you going out and giving us a 5-star review. So if you could do that and then share an episode with your friends, we'd really appreciate it. All right. So the question for tonight is it's a simple one, but it's an important one. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Jody, your
Yes,
answer first.
absolutely. I love pineapple on pizza. I used to work at a summer camp for many, many years, and that was one of our favorite things to get was pineapple pizza. I love it. My daughter loves it. I love pineapple on pizza. The answer is absolutely positively yes. But I don't like it
Oh,
with the
thank
meat.
God. I thought,
I just want pineapple. I don't mix any
oh,
meat on it with it. I just want pineapple.
okay. Okay. Well, I we saved our friendship there by you saying yes, but then I think I might hurt it here because I do like having a meat with it, though I don't like ham with it. I mean, I'm not turning it down, right? But I like bacon with it. So bacon
I,
and pineapple is my all-time favorite pizza.
I think it's pretty
It's
good and a really good combination. For whatever reason though, I want the pineapple to shine on the
hmm,
pizza. Let it have its moment.
that's fair. I mean, yeah. And you know what I love too is grilled pineapple, especially with shrimp. Oh, it's my favorite thing in the summer. I cannot wait. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But we are talking about a place that has a lot of pineapples.
A lot.
And we're going to talk about Jody and your family's trip to Aulani in Hawaii. So you guys went to Hawaii and you stayed at a Disney resort, which I think all of our listeners, this is probably a dream trip, right? We all love Disney, and who doesn't love Hawaii, or at least the idea of it, because it's pretty far. So why don't you tell us who all went on the trip? Um, so let's start with that because I think this was a big group.
Yeah, so this was our the reason why we picked this is it's our last family spring break as a family unit. So Lindsay's a senior, Lena's in 8th grade, and they'll never have matching spring breaks forever. So this was it. So this was the big finale of family spring break. So we wanted to do something big. And we were looking at different things. We have DVC points, and points are fun and they're fun to use. So we figured, let's go ahead and look at Aulani. And actually, the point value there is really quite reasonable. It's a great use of your points. So we looked at it, we figured it out, and whew, we could do it. A 1 bedroom without a problem. So we were more worried actually about the flights than the price of the flights than we were about the points and going to Aulani.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But that,
think that's a big thing is the
yeah.
cost of flights to Hawaii are insane.
Yeah. Now, I have to tell you, we got super, super, super lucky. Tim and I ended up having enough Delta points combined that we all flew for free on miles, and all we ended up paying was $11 per person for taxes. So the four of us flew to Hawaii for $44.
All right, so you had a prepaid stay with your DVC points. You
Exactly.
had flights with just a minimal fee for processing. So far, I like this trip, Jody. This is going pretty well for you
Yeah.
guys, I think.
And so we booked the flights a long time ago. We called Delta. This could be false information, but this is what I was told, and so this is what we did. I was told the day that they released the return flight home is the day you should try to call to use your points. So we called exactly that day, talked to a great Delta agent. She did her magic. We were going to go Saturday to Saturday, but she said if we left earlier, if we left on a Wednesday, it would be a lot less points. And then if we booked it online, it was 15% off. So that's why we ended up leaving on a Wednesday. So we pulled the kids out of school for 3 days. We're terrible parents, but you know
Ye
what? 3 days before
Jody, come
spring break.
on. Giving these kids amazing right, and it's amazing experiences, right? I mean, it's family time, and it's seeing places that not many people get to see.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So
I'm a big proponent of taking kids on vacation.
well, I'm glad that we did it the way we did it because, we left Wednesday, March 26th, and it took us 22 hours and 15 minutes from the minute we walked out of our house to the minute we walked into Aulani to get there. We connected through Salt Lake City, which was gonna be great. We had no problem with that, but there was a flight delay from Salt Lake to LA or Salt Lake to, Honolulu, and it was just delayed, 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 and so that made for a super long travel day. So we got to Aulani, we actually, like, walked into the we landed at 9:30 that night Hawaiian time, and we got to Aulani, um, it was 10:30ish, I'd say, by the time we got the car and everything, so it was a long day. So if we had shortened our trip, knowing what I know now about, like, how I mean, I've been to Hawaii 2 other times, but or 3 other times, actually. So the length of time to get there is just so long. I'm glad we did a Wednesday. I'm glad we took those other days because that first day was completely toast. So,
Yeah. No, that's it's a very remote place, right? It's tough to get to, and that's got to be a consideration for people going. Is make sure you build in some extra time, and like Lonnie always says, pack your patience. And
you know what, John?
that's
There's a direct flight from Detroit all the way to Honolulu.
there is.
Yep, Delta has
Oh,
a direct flight
don't
from Detroit to Honolulu.
wow.
Mhm.
Well, I we need to take a time out. I'm gonna go book some things. Um,
And I'm
man,
telling you, the point value
that
is
would be
great.
amazing because with kids, yeah, the problem is since COVID, no work travel really, no points, right? No, I haven't gotten any miles in the last 5 years. So I have to
Yeah,
pay for flights now for the kids. And that stuff's expensive. Jody, I don't know if you've paid for a flight recently, but they're not cheap anymore.
I know,
It's
and you have
yeah.
times 1.5 million, so
Yeah.
yeah,
We have nine people, seven kids to adults. It's a lot of
you're
people
crazy
to move.
outnumbered.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get one of those covered carriages and a couple horses, and then we'll get a boat from LA.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll see how it works.
we'll see you in a
It's
couple
gonna be fine.
years.
Okay, so you guys went on this trip and you went with friends, right? So
No,
how did
we went by ourselves.
oh,
Let me clarify something here.
really?
So this was we gave we when this whole thing came about, when I was looking at this, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I said to Lindsay, like, this is your big senior year spring break. You can go to Florida with your friends, which so many people do, or we could go to Hawaii and stay at Aulani. And about 0.2 seconds later, she was like, Aulani. I don't care. I'd rather go to Aulani. So that's what we decided. So we booked our trip forever and ever ago. I think what you were referring to is that the Gardners were there. So Scott
Yeah.
Gardner from the Be Our Guest podcast, they were there the same times we were. Not planned. Okay.
Really? Because
So
you
yeah,
guys
yeah. So Scott and Lizzie's daughter, Emily,
you guys are close.
right. So their daughter had a band trip to Hawaii to I should explain. There are multiple islands in Hawaii, as people know. Uh, Aulani is located on the island of Oahu and in the city of Ko'olina. So it's Aulani, Ko'olina, Oahu, Hawaii is kind of how you would kind of say it. Their daughter had a band trip. They were performing at Pearl Harbor on the island of Oahu. So she was there with her band the week before we got there, and Scott and Lizzie went out for her band, like, met them to see the band perform, and then extended their trip to Aulani. So it was after the fact that our trip was booked,
Oh,
and they knew that their daughter was gonna be there, that we figured out that we were all gonna be there at the same time.
that is awesome though. That's so cool.
Yeah, it really was so cool. So when that super horrible long day of travel, when we were, finally got there, I had surprised my family, and had a lay greeting for them at the airport. So they didn't know because Alani used to do that, I guess, during pre-COVID, but they haven't brought that service back. So I just wanted to make something special for them, and I'm so glad that I did after the 22 hours of travel. It was just something to lift our spirits and make us happy. So we did the lay greeting. We got the car. Here's another tip. I got the car, like, I don't know, 9 months ago. And then about 2 weeks before the trip, I just was like, let's see if there's any differences. And I ended up saving like $220 on the car, rebooking it. So keep an eye on that because that was a huge, huge, huge savings. Um, Anyway, so when we got to Aulani, Scott was waiting in the atrium to say aloha, welcome to Aulani, and welcome to Hawaii. So that was really special because it had been a really, really long day. So it was great to see a smiling face right when we walked in.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially like a good friend and everything too. That's
Yeah,
just neat how life works out like that sometimes.
it was really
Um,
awesome. It was
so
really great.
with Aulani, you mentioned renting a car. That's cool. Yeah. So you mentioned renting a car. Do you feel like it was necessary to have a car to stay at that resort?
We absolutely did. Now, remember, my children are actually Lindsay's an adult now. She's officially 18 and Landon is 14. So, and we're not good relaxing, sit by the beach and lounge all day. We're pretty active. So, we knew, and Koalina is in the southwest corner of the island and pretty remote from everything. So, Pearl Harbor was maybe half an hour away. The east side of the island with all the beautiful beaches was about an hour away. Waikiki was probably 40 to 50 minutes away. So we knew we wanted to explore a lot of these places, North Shore, all that stuff. So we knew we wanted a car because we wanted to be active. Now, if we had littles and they just wanted to float at the pool all day and do the activities at the resort, they have Auntie's Beach House where you could do kids activities and kind of like a cruise line where you could drop your kids and do stuff. If we had littles, maybe we wouldn't want to leave Alani as much, but because we have we're active family and active, teens to young adults, we can go out and do things. And the other tip I would give you is if you get a rental car, don't ever leave anything in your rental car at all. Break-ins are very, very, very common
Yeah.
in Maui in particular, but in on Oahu also. They look for tourists and look for tourists leaving their stuff in their car. So don't ever leave like even a cell phone charger in your car. Take everything with you at all times. So yeah, so for us, we needed a car. And
Wow,
if you're
that's crazy,
DVC
but a good
your
tip.
DVC
Yeah.
parking is included. So you get your parking for free if you're a DVC member.
Oh, that's great. That's a big savings over, say, a week or so.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. All right. So one of the questions about driving on the island I just had, and then we can start talking about Alani and get the Disney side of it. But
Sure.
how did you guys feel driving around the island? Do you feel safe driving? Are there like crazy cliffs that you're on or anything like that?
No, Maui's much worse. The road to Hana is much scarier. We had a minivan and,
Oh,
we're totally fine on Oahu. Traffic is Honolulu is a really large city. It's very populated. It's a major metropolitan area. We were not staying in Honolulu, but there's lots and lots and lots of people there. So the roads are completely normal and fine, but traffic was horrendous. There were some times that going 14 miles took an hour and a half. So,
wow.
like Tim at one point in time, he's like, "I feel like I'm in LA." Like, that's how bad traffic was. So, there are definitely times that you can get stuck in traffic, and it's not enjoyable, unfortunately.
And Honolulu is on the same island?
Yeah, Honolulu is on Oahu, yeah.
Okay. So you do have a big city nearby too if you really need something, which is nice. How
Yeah.
far is that from Aulani?
It's near the airport, so probably half an hour or so from
Oh,
Aulani.
okay.
We didn't
Nice.
we
Okay.
didn't spend any time in the city at all, nor did we spend any time in Waikiki. We just that's not our jam or our vibe, so we just chose not to do that. We know from our
Hmm.
travels, like, we like off the beaten path and more natural type of things, so we didn't wanna do that part of the island. There were too many other cool things to see.
Okay. No, that's fair. Okay, so the resort itself. What let's see. So the resort is on a private beach, right? They have their own beach?
They have so they're lagoons, and they share it with the Four Seasons, which is next door. So there's 4 lagoons in Koalani.
Hmm.
Um, Four Seasons and Aulani share one. Um, then there's like a condominium association, there's a Marriott Vacation Club, and then I forget what's at the very end. So there were like 4 little lagoons, about a mile plus to go to all 4 of them. Our view, so we had a island tower view of our pardon me, island garden view. We were in the Eva Tower, which is the female side of the building. So there's a male side and a female side. We're on the female side. We actually looked over at the luau. We could watch the luau every night. that it was happening or maybe under the stars, but we could see the beachfront and the lagoon of the other lagoon, the one next door. So not Aulani's, but the one next door to us. So even though technically we didn't have an oceanfront view, we saw the ocean every single morning. So
Yeah.
it was someone had told me, like, you to call about a month ahead of time and say you want this tower and a high floor, and so we did. We got the room 1177 on the 11th floor in the Eva Tower, and I loved it.
Hmm.
So I thought that our location was perfect. I wouldn't have changed anything about our location.
That's awesome, and you got the view of so the lagoons are now, are they kinda sheltered then from the ocean to, like, break some of the waves and
Yeah,
that type of thing?
so yes, so there's, like, these big rock boulder type things that they've made, so you're not getting pummeled by waves or water. It's very calm. You could go out there with your kids and feel absolutely totally safe. So, very, very nice.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome. I love those kind of things because the waves are fun to play in, but yeah, definitely makes it more, um, safe for the kids.
but our thought on the room, just to give you some honest feedback here. As everybody knows, we own at the Riviera, so we own one of the newer resorts, and it's really hard when you come from one of the newer resorts to a place that's, I guess they're 13, 14 years old now, as Aulani. We stayed in a one bedroom, which for our family is an absolute must. We, with two teenagers, being a boy and a girl, having the extra space, like I can't imagine staying um, in in a studio there. That I think we would have all killed each other. Um, Having the washer and dryer was clutch. The full kitchen was clutch. Although oddly enough, the the oven took like 20 minutes to preheat, which was the craziest thing ever. I don't know why. Lana made some frozen pizzas and we couldn't, and like we, it was crazy. Anyway,
Hmm.
but I do think that the room design needs a, maybe a little refresh. So unlike some of the rooms that they're doing now at even at Pop Century where you can put your luggage underneath the bed, there was no storage under the bed, so we just had luggage sitting out. It was a pull-out couch instead of a Murphy bed, which I just don't love. That's kind of a pain every day to like remake the couch and pull it back together. Landon's bed was the one under the TV, the pull down, and I was kind of disappointed that there was, like, no painting or mural or anything from that pull down bed. They're very, very,
Oh,
very big
yeah.
in at Aulani of, like, Hawaii first. They call it Big H, Little D, like, Big Hawaii, Little Disney, but they could have painted a
Mm.
sea turtle or a wave or something, a lei, something Hawaiian, as opposed to
A
Donald
lapu
Duck.
lapu?
A lapu-lapu, yeah, whatever, I don't know, but
Yeah,
so I do
right.
think, I think they're I think they're due for a refresh, and hopefully, maybe they'll make some changes to those things. What another thing was funny was we actually had 2 balconies that were completely separate. So there was a balcony from the one-bedroom side and a balcony from the, like, living room side, so but they didn't
Oh.
connect. So you could, like,
Did
look
they have
over the
different
railing.
vient?
No, they were the exact same. So you could, like,
Oh,
look up over the railing and talk to, like, your family, but you couldn't all be together. So it's kinda funny.
huh. Well,
Sometimes separation was nice.
that's nice. That gives you and Tim some built-in couple time. And use a
Yes.
little bit of a facelift, but
Yeah.
overall, what okay, so the resort has, you said, like, little D, right? Like, so some Disney touches. What kind of Disney touches do they bring into the resort that you guys looked at and appreciated?
So just little things like, there's a lampshade in the room that has Mickey surfing. There was another lampshade that when you turned the lampshade on, it would have Mickey on it when you turn the light on, and then you turn it off and you go away. There wasn't there was no big Disney anywhere. So really like the grand hall, the grand entrance is all Hawaiian. So Tim and I actually did a tour of it to learn all about it. Like there's a tapestry that goes around and different sides of the tapestry that represent like the ocean and the land and the sky. And then there's a mural. It took the man 2.5 years to paint this mural that goes all the way around. And the best way I could explain the lobby area is it's like a mix between Animal Kingdom Lodge and Polynesian, like they had a baby and came together. Um, so real it's really unbelievable, but there's not a Disney touch anywhere. Like there's
Hmm,
no Mickey anywhere. Um,
wow.
s so I would think if you didn't love Disney, you wouldn't have to see any Disney anything. Now there's characters and there's opportunities to see characters, but it's not in your face at all.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's interesting though. I had no idea. I know nothing about Alani, so that's why I'm so excited to hear about the trip and everything. But yeah, so okay, so there's some characters, but that's really it. What did you guys do the luau? You mentioned being able to see it from your room. Was
We did.
did you do it?
So
How was it? Okay.
yeah, so we did the luau on let's see, we got there on Wednesday. We did the luau. I'm looking over my notes to make sure that I remember this correctly. Um, well, let me start with Thursday morning because that's the one that I think you were asking about characters. Thursday morning, the gardeners were able to get us a breakfast for Makaliki, which is the character breakfast. So that we did get to meet characters that morning. So we
Okay.
met Mickey, Minnie, Chip, and Dale. But what was interesting is a day or 2 later, I saw the character breakfast going on, and they were different characters. So, like at Walt Disney World, you get a character breakfast, and it's always the
Yeah.
same characters every morning. Like, there was Pluto and Max and Goofy out at a different breakfast, and so
That's
I was
awesome.
like, "Oh, that's really interesting, like, that's not the same characters we had," and I guess you just get what you get and you don't throw a fit, so uh, but the breakfast was really great. It's a, 3-course breakfast. You get this amazing fresh fruit. You get this, thing called a malasada, which is a kind of a donut type thing that they're really famous for on the island. Phenomenal. I could eat 5 dozen of them. And then you get to choose your main course entree. So that was a great way to start off the trip with this, like, character breakfast, super wonderful experience, and super filling. Like, we took leftovers back up to the room with us and ate them the next day. So,
Wow.
I don't think it was a bad bang for your buck for a character breakfast outside in this beautiful area, yeah,
Yeah.
it was gorgeous.
That's amazing. So speaking of food, I mean, overall, how was the food at the resort?
Expensive. It's Hawaii, so
Oh,
everything is really, really expensive. So we actually tried to offset that a
okay.
little bit by going to the grocery store. So our first morning, because we were up at like 5 in the morning, because they're 6 hours behind us. Well, most of the time they're 6 hours behind you. They don't observe daylight savings time, so they were 6 hours right
Okay.
now. So we ran to Foodland. We were gonna go to Target, but everyone kept saying Foodland has this amazing poke, and, so that's why we chose to go to Foodland. So we got all breakfast and lunch items. That was our only breakfast
Okay.
we ate out, and then we had, you know, granola and yogurt and bacon and eggs and stuff in the room. Since we had a full kitchen, we wanted to take advantage of it, and we wanted to save some money that way. Um, so yeah, but the only other thing that was, like, cheap at the resort,
Mm.
was the popcorn. If you buy a popcorn bucket, this is another perk for DVC. DVC members get free popcorn refills.
Oh, that's it. You sold
Yeah,
me. I'm
free,
going.
just for the popcorn, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's all we're gonna eat, but it's
so
free.
people are like, "Well, how do they know that you're DVC?" Well, you have to get a, bracelet to go to the pool because all the beaches in Hawaii are public, so anybody in Hawaii can use any beach at any time. But to get onto Disney pools, you would have to wear a bracelet. And hotel guests had a plain colored bracelet, a different color for each day, but DVC members had a glittery color bracelet. So if you would get your popcorn bucket, you'd go ask for a popcorn refill and you'd just flash them your glittery bracelet and you would just get to walk right out and you got your free popcorn. So kind of cool to get there was and then you also got the DVC welcome gifts. We got the bag, we got some hats. They had a really cool
Ooh,
a word of the day thing for DVC members. So Landon and I really like that. There are lots of DVC guides there. Lots,
wow.
lots, and lots of DVC guides
So
there. So there's but they do treat the DVC members, I would say, quite nicely. I
yeah.
really I do feel like they probably more so than any other resort I've ever been at.
Wow, okay, that's awesome because I think a lot of people that go there are DVC, right? I mean, they have a lot of people buy points there and everything else, so that to do a little bit better job of that sometimes,
Yeah.
but, eh. All right. So, so you ate breakfast and lunch a lot in the room, which that makes sense, especially given it's probably super expensive in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But you guys are foodies too. So, what did we do for dinner?
Yeah, so, the first night, what did we do for dinner? I can't even remember yet. Thursday night, what did we do? What did we do? What did we do? Sorry, I'm reading over my notes. After breakfast, we did the lazy river. Oh, wait, I wanna share something else really fun with you the first day, on Thursday. Tim and myself and Scott and Lizzie, we went to a
Okay.
mimosa and macaroon, right? Did I say that right? You're the one who always
Well,
corrects me.
there's macaroons and there's macarons and
Okay,
macaroons, and
so
I don't know what the difference is,
macaron.
but Kara always yells at me.
Okay. Well, the French pastry thing, the little
Yeah.
sandwich one, that's we went to a class, to learn how to make them and had it with mimosas, and it was the head pastry chef of the, resort, which was really cool.
Yeah.
That's only for DVC members, like, that's a special perk for DVC members. So, that we didn't know that we were learning how to make them. We thought we were just gonna be eating them and drinking mimosas. So, they gave us an apron and put us to work. We were like, "Okay, I guess we're learning how to make these." So
That
that was
oh,
super fun. Um,
that is
oh,
really fun. Do you have to now? Did you have to book that way in advance?
yeah, so booking stuff for
Okay.
for Alani is super confusing. I made a cheat sheet, and if anybody wants it, I'm happy to share it because some things like the luau are actually not run by Disney. They're a third party site, and they say they release them like 6 months in advance. I just started checking like 7 months in advance every single day, and all of a sudden one day it was open, and it was not like exactly at a 6 month
Hmm.
mark or whatever. So that's kind of crazy. Other things are exactly at 30 days in advance, and, it's midnight Hawaii time that they open, and I had it down wrong on my notes. I thought it was 7 a.m. Hawaii time, so sometimes it was too late to book things. So, yeah, and then other things, like, there's a park that you try to get access to, which you can only do 2 days in advance. So there's all sorts of dates and times and stuff, and if anybody wants my notes and my cheat sheet, I'm happy to share them because it was kind of a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, sounds like it, but at least you can book those things though, and if you know about them, you have a
Yeah,
reservation, that makes it way easier, right?
yeah. Well,
Um,
like I said, like, for the
mm,
character breakfast, we actually
yeah.
tried to book and we couldn't, and then, the gardeners were there the day before us and stopped by Mali the restaurant, and they were able to get us in, and we were a party of 7, so, that they were
No.
able to accommodate us, which was great.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think that's a good tip even at Disney World too, right? If you go up to the restaurant, if you're in the park or wherever you're at, Disney Springs, if you can't get a reservation, go up there and talk to them because a lot of times they do find a way to fit you in. So
Yeah,
you might as well try, right?
that's what I my
Yeah.
thought was, worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
So, that night
So that's awesome.
we got in the car and we
Especially
took
with, like you
pictures.
said, a big group.
Yeah. We actually did our own thing for dinner that night. We got in the car and drove to the North Shore and went to this great restaurant called, Beach House. When we went to 2 restaurants called Beach House, 2 separate restaurants, kinda funny, but it was nice. We
Very
got to watch
original
the
name.
sunset. I know. We got to watch the sunset right from our table, and we had excellent food. We had seafood pretty much every night. Um, so and this is one thing also to know about Aulani is that, the resort kinda shuts down by, like, 9:30 PM, 10 o'clock PM. So there's really no nightlife per se. There's one bar, which we absolutely loved, but it's very quiet and, there's, like, 2 guys on guitar singing and, there's no rowdiness. I think that's Waikiki is where it's all rowdy. So, it was fine for us, go to dinner, and then, kind of the resort was asleep by 9:30 or 10.
Hmm. Okay. That I mean, for especially with little kids and a family and everything, that's not that bad then.
No,
Because
no.
that's kind of what you want, right? Have a
Yep.
bar available, get a drink, and then get those kids to bed.
And there's,
Hmm.
I'm sure people have talked about this when they stay at Alani. There's a eh, not quite a grocery store, but better than a convenience store, is how I'd explain it. It's called the ABC store. It's across the street. It's walking maybe a half a mile, and that's being I mean, it's probably less than that, a quarter of a mile maybe. And you can get groceries and things there. They had a hot bar, they had a poke bar, they had all sorts of stuff. So you can almost just go there too, if you needed one in groceries. And they had a very nice wine selection and alcohol selection and beer selection. So if you wanted to get stuff there, bring it back to your room, you could do that too, as opposed to always buying stuff from the resort.
Yeah, that's a really good tip because especially at $20 a drink or so, it can really add up.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. So okay, so there's a store within walking distance. That's really good because if you run out of groceries or something, you can go back there and get them pretty easily. So what did you do for dinner? I'm very excited to hear about what you guys did for dinners and how the food at the resort was.
Yeah, so again, the first night we didn't eat there, we went up and ate at the North Shore,
Okay.
and then Friday, we Tim and I actually got up and did a little, early work, and but what's really cool, at 7 o'clock every morning at the resort, they do this, um, blessing, I guess is what I'd call it, and it goes over the loudspeakers, not enough that it wakes everybody up, but it's a traditional Hawaiian. I don't wanna call it a chant because that downgrades it. Anyway, it was quite beautiful, and, we got to enjoy listening to that, which was really just a nice way to start the day. Um, and we went out that day, we went to the Dole plantation first just so Lindsay could get real Dole Whip, but then we went to surf lessons. Y So,
Oh,
this yeah, this was something I booked ahead of time. There's a lot of different people that offer surf lessons. We use this company called Uncle Brian that I had heard good things about, um, and it was up on the North Shore. We met them where at this place, I'm gonna Puena Point, I think was the name of it, but before we even went surfing, John, sea turtles right there, like, the size
that's
of
amazing.
there were 3 of them
Oh,
that were, I don't know, like 3 feet long or bigger, like, and they were just right there, like,
wow.
you're not allowed to interrupt them or get near them or touch them or, like, bother
Yeah,
them, but they I mean,
yeah.
we certainly weren't touching them, but if we wanted to, we could have, like, that's how close they were, and we were just in such
That's
amazement
so
and
cool.
awe of them. They were so cool. They were just there, like these gigantic sea turtles, like, just be like, "Hey," it's like, "Hey, crush the turtle dude, what's up? I'm just here hanging out," like, that was really cool. That was super cool. I've never seen a sea turtle, like, live in the ocean before. That was really awesome.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I know my kids that would love that. I would love that too. I think is that a normal like thing for that time of year or are
Yeah,
they
because we
always
saw
there?
them different
Yeah,
places in different parts of the island, so I think it's pretty common. Um,
that's
so
really cool.
yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, so we went surfing that day. Landon was a natural, got up on the board immediately. Lindsay was really great. I failed my first attempt and then got up every single time thereafter, which I was pretty proud of myself being almost 50 years old, like trying surfing for the first time. And we'll just leave
Yeah.
it at that. That's how our family did.
No, 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 no. I am so excited to hear how Tim failed at this.
He
How
he made it
did it go? How
entertaining.
did it go for Tim?
Um, he never caught a wave. He tried. He got a lot of workout in paddling. Yeah,
All right, good, good. I think that's a typical dad move is to do the surf lessons and fail miserably, and I
yeah,
love it.
yeah. So we had a good time watching him, but he
That's
got to
good.
see a sea turtle when he was surfing, and the rest of us didn't. So,
Oh,
in one of his failed attempts, he saw another sea turtle. So, that was bonus for him. He needed that.
that worked. Worked out for him then. That's awesome. All right.
Um,
So this was a thing you booked not through Disney, right? Through someone else.
Correct, and
Okay.
this is where, a Anthony Wade, our friend Anthony, who ran the marathon with us, twice now, he's run Disney Marathon with us. He's been to Aulani before, and so he told me about there's an Aulani, just like so many other Facebook pages, but there's an Aulani planning Facebook group and invited me to that group, and, that's where I got a lot of the recommendations and ideas of different excursions and how to plan some things because there are some tips and things that you kind of have to if you want to go do those type of things that are important for you to try to figure out. So, like for example, you have to have reef safe sunscreen on all islands in Hawaii. So that was something like I spent a lot of time making sure that we were getting the appropriate sunscreen because, of course, I don't want to hurt the animals or wildlife or sea life there. So that that was a big deal. So anyway, so yeah, so we booked that separately.
Okay.
But then,
No, that's really cool. That's a fun thing to get to do.
yeah, it was the one thing I let both the kids say, like, "What's one thing that you really wanna do on this trip?" And Landon was like, "I really wanna try to surf." So, that we did it. It was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was great. And then that night, we would have loved to have stayed and checked out more of the North Shore after we went surfing, but that was our big, huge dinner at Ama Ama that night. And Ama Ama is Aulani's signature restaurant. It sits right on the water. It's a four-course meal. It is not inexpensive. It
It's
is.
not
It,
inexpensive.
it
Okay.
is. Yeah, it is. It is a
But
splurge.
are we talking Vicky and Al level pricing,
I don't
or
know
is
how much Vicky and Al is, but it was,
this
and, our children are
okay?
adults, so for us, it was 4 adults. And then they offered a wine
Yeah.
pairing, which, of course, Tim and I had to do.
We're
So,
not turning that down, right? Yeah.
yeah, so, it was absolutely amazing, though, like, they we had a great time with the 7 of us. The food was incredible, the wine pairings were incredible. I think I won the like, because you could pick out of each, starters, the apps, the main course, and the dessert. I think I won. I think my pairings were the best. Um, I kind of went all seafood, and it was a big, huge splurge, but, both the girls are graduating this year. I have a big birthday this year. Lizzie has a birthday this year. So we are celebrating a lot of things. They did give us this cute little like celebration, like signature card, when we got there. So it was pretty awesome.
Hmm.
It was it was a splurge, but it was, if you want a special meal, um, yes, do it.
Hmm. Okay. I I'm sold. I'm gonna do it. I just gotta find a way to not bring my children because that sounds crazy.
And then, John, what do you do after you eat a ton of food? Go
We
for a
have
nap?
drinks.
No, no, we went swimming because that's what you
Oh,
like to do after a four-course meal. Put your bathing suit on, right?
I
Yep,
will.
so we went for a night swim because why not? So we all got on our bathing suits, the adults got some beverages, and we went for a really fun night swim that night, all of us. So we had a lot of fun. Um, the gentlemen were into their Mai Tais of the day, so
That's
they
awesome. Why?
figured that one out, but we were all having a really good time in the pool.
Nice. And yeah, why wouldn't you go for a night swim? I would too. You're in Hawaii. You can't just always go in the Pacific Ocean like that in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Might as well do it.
And there are multiple pools at a lot, multiple pools. Um, and there's even an adult pool and an adult hot tub. So if you wanna get away from the kids, you can go over there. The adult pool is kind of by the quick service Ulu Cafe, place. So kinda nice.
Now, did you prefer swimming at the beach or in the pool?
I am a pool person. I don't mind the beach a little bit, but I don't like
Really?
sand very much. So I am 100% a pool person. And then we thought you weren't allowed to have any balls or anything. I know you weren't allowed to have them at the pool, but we didn't think you were allowed to have them at the ocean. So we went to the ABC store and got something to toss in the ocean because Lana, had to have some sort of sport, something to do while we were there. So, yeah. So if you wanna do something like that, if you wanna pack a football or a water tossing toy,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you could do that.
Volleyball.
Whatever.
Any kind of balls, really. Any kind of balls you want, you
Anytime,
can play with.
children, anytime. Probably not a bowling ball. That'd be a bad idea. May sink.
At the pool? Oh, well, yeah, that and it might break the pool, and then that's no good for
Maybe,
anyone.
yeah.
But,
And would probably be
okay,
a
no,
teddy
that's
in your
cool though that that's good though that they have the store nearby that has those type of things though, where you can buy, like, beach toys and things like that to play because
So
it
beach
makes it a little
toys you
fun.
can actually rent from Disney at the beach, and
Oh,
some of them are free. I think we never played with the beach toys, so I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that there were items that you could get for free. I know you could rent paddle boards and things like that, but we never did any of that. My favorite part of the whole beach pool
hmm,
area was the lazy river by far. That was my favorite part. You could just float in an inner tube in the lazy river. I could have gone around that a zillion and one times. Actually, my favorite part was going down the slide in the tube, which dumps you out in the lazy river. That's
The
by
slide.
far my favorite, the slide.
Okay, so what was Landon's review of the slide? I didn't you sent the video and I just didn't watch it yet.
Okay.
Um,
There
how
are
was it?
2 slides, okay? The one slide, you need a tube.
Okay,
The other slide, you
okay,
need just your body. The body slide, I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 stars. Did not like it at all. It was pitch black, fully enclosed, fast and scary. I do not like being in the pitch black. Like, if there had been just a little bit of light, I would have been cool with it. No light whatsoever, petrified. All I kept thinking of, I'm gonna get stuck, someone's gonna come behind me and run into me, and I'm gonna drown in this tube. I'm not a fan of pitch black, didn't like it. The tube slide where you're in the inner tube, and then they had singles or doubles you could
yeah.
be, that was super fast, super fun, and in the light outside. So I'm and that one dumped you out in the lazy river. So that one I loved. I'm gonna give that like a 9.5. I thought very highly of it. Landon, I think, gave it an 8.5. So we both like that slide.
Okay, so still very high, yeah. So, the pools are great, the food is really good on property. What about you mentioned, like, the higher end restaurant, right? But were there, did they have, like, quick service, table service, and
Yeah.
snack type levels like you do at Disney World?
Yep. So again, so the place went for breakfast was called Makahiki. They're open for breakfast and dinner only, and that's a reservation. It's 3 courses, I think, for both meals. Attached to Makahiki is by far our favorite thing on all of property called Aleo Room. Aleo means language, and it was all about the Hawaiian language. That was the bar, but it had a little outdoor dining area too. They were just had, appetizers, but they had sushi. They had fresh sushi all the time, so we ate there 3 times because we liked it so much. There's a nut so the quick service called Ulu Cafe, and that's your typical cheeseburgers, salads, hamburgers, chicken fingers, all that type of stuff. You could get a Mickey bar there, that type of stuff. Landon, I think, ate there once. We never really got food there. And then Ama Ama's the high end, and then there's a pool restaurant too called Off the Hook. And we kept meaning to eat at Off the Hook, but it just never worked out. Like, we never ate there. The food looked pretty good. The portions looked pretty big, but it just didn't work out. They also had Dole Whip available on property. They had shave ice available on property. Lindsay got Mickey shave ice one time. They had like a snack shack that I have no idea what was in it because I didn't go there. Um, so yeah, lots of opportunities for eating. Mobile order was available at Ulu Cafe though, which was nice, just like at the parks. And Alani does have its own app, so you definitely want to download that app.
Okay, awesome. Well, it sounds like there's a lot to do there. Did you guys end up doing the luau, or
We
did you
did.
not
So
do it?
Saturday night, we did the luau. So Friday night was our big fancy night. Saturday we had another DVC event. Like we went to the mixology in the Leo room with and again, just an amazing bar. John, you would love it. Like carvings of like, let's say there would be a carving of a bird, and underneath would be the Hawaiian word bird. And so the whole, everything was there to teach you that you didn't have to learn the Hawaiian language, but like that's what they were promoting. As a matter of fact, the mixologist was telling us to work there, you have to be fluent Hawaiian and you have to be a mixologist. So um, really cool. Just absolutely, and again, you could get food there, sushi and things. But we did a mixology class there, and he made all the glasses. We ended up or all the cocktails. That was awesome. And then that night, Saturday night was our luau, and the luau is on property. It's booked through the Aulani website, but it's not run by Disney. It's a third party. We did the preferred seating, which means we got in a little bit earlier. They do a couple of things before the show. You make poi, you can do ukulele, you can get a flower bracelet, and then you sit down and watch the show, and it's a buffet. And the food was actually really good, and it was all you cared to enjoy food and beverages.
Oh, I like it. I like where this is going.
Yeah, so it was
Okay,
really
good.
incredible luau. I felt like we got our money's worth. I didn't feel, luau's are pretty expensive anyway. Um, but I very much enjoyed the performance. We were the first table in front of the stage, so we had up close seats. The guy from Shark Tank was there the same night as us. Richard or Robert is his name. So
Oh,
he
yeah,
was there.
yeah, the guy with the black hair that kinda swoops over,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
So, anyway, yeah, food was good, the performance was incredible. Highly recommend going to the luau. It is a splurge, it is very expensive, but, it's something that you pay for ahead of time, so to me, at that point in time, I was like,
Okay,
"Oh, this money I spent 6 months ago," like, it didn't feel
right.
as painful because it was already
Yeah, that's why I like the dining plan at Disney, same thing.
yeah,
You have that one day where it's terrible, and then by the time you get there, it's paid off and you're good to go.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
um, but no, so that's awesome though that you felt like it was did you feel it was worth it to pay the extra money to get preferred seating? Or do you think that would have been something that didn't make as big of a difference?
Um, I don't think it was necessary,
Hmm,
I mean, I don't it was nice, but I don't know that I needed it.
okay.
I think we would've been perfectly fine without it. So,
Hmm, okay. No, I was just curious because a lot of times with Disney, some of these upcharge things are worth it and they make the experience so much better. So that's good to know. All right. Anything else? I mean, it sounds like an amazing trip. It sounds like a lot of fun and
well, I'm just gonna hit some highlights because that was just Saturday.
I would.
So Sunday we did Pearl
Yeah, I was
Harbor,
gonna say
which
anything else. Oh, that was
again,
only Saturday.
that was only Saturday.
Okay.
So Sunday was Pearl Harbor. Those tickets you get through the recreation.gov website, and they're only $1 each to go out to the USS Arizona. But again, a place where you have to be really careful about thievery. So you're not allowed to carry any bags of any type unless it's one of those clear bags into the memorial site. Um, and so people didn't know that, and they would carry purses and stuff in there and then take them back out to their car. And I guess
Oh,
thieves watch for that. So we knew that ahead of time. So we carried nothing with us but our cell phones. Um, we opted to do the audio tour with it, which I really 3 of the 4 of us really enjoyed. Somebody was having a bad morning that morning and didn't love it as much.
hmm,
Um, I enjoyed it though, but I love history. After that, we went to Leonard's Bakery, which is the famous bakery on the island. We went there for again malasadas, those donut type of things. There are multiple locations, so I would highly recommend finding a Leonard's near wherever you are, getting one of those donut type things. We hiked up Diamond Head that day, which I really wanted to do at sunrise, but that's a reservation I messed up. It's a 30-day in advance window, and I didn't log in at the right time. So the only available time slot was noon, and I knew that would stink. It wasn't the sunrise, but at least we were going to do it. So we hiked up there for an incredible view. We went back to the pool later that afternoon. We did some pictures, and then we went to the big monkey pod for dinner that night. Every Aulani podcast I listen to, and let me tell you, I listened like 40 before our trip. I searched up on Apple Podcasts and typed in Aulani and listened to every single one I could possibly do. Everybody, monkey pod, monkey pod, monkey pod. I'm here to say, not a fan. I thought the food was mediocre at
wow.
best. Tim's fish sandwich was just not good and kind of flavorless. Um, Everybody loves it. They're famous for their Mai Tais, which I'm not a big rum person, so I had a sip and thought it was fine. Um, I thought the
Hmm,
experience was fine, but I it is directly across the street, so that right by the ABC store, so I think that's why a lot of people like it, so you get off property, but, um, I mean, I heard one podcast the family went 3 times during their stay.
huh.
Like, I was fine with 1. So,
Okay.
um so that was just our opinion, but, I am a little bit of a food snob. Um, on Monday, what did we do? We went attempted snorkeling. We attempted snorkeling a couple times. We packed an entire suitcase of snorkel gear. So have you ever seen those snorkels that cover your entire face? They're
Yes.
not they're not the 2
We just
pieces, right?
breathe normally and you don't have the yeah.
Mhm. So that's what we own. And we put our fins on, we put our snorkels on, we're getting ready. We're going to this place called Electric Beach. It's a mile down the road. It's kind of crazy water, but I'm a really strong swimmer, so I'm like, this will be fine. Come on, family, we can do this. Right before we get in the water, this woman looks at us, this local, and she's like, "Do you know those snorkels can kill you? Someone just died a year ago. You really shouldn't be using them." I'm like, "Oh, thanks for that." of course, my family heard that, and my kids freak out, and they don't wanna put the
Yeah.
snorkels on, right? So,
Ugh,
that's awesome. Packed them all the way from Ohio, and, now they don't wanna get in the water. So and then the waves were coming pretty intense, and I made it out past the breaker, but they never did. They just kind of between the snorkel and the waves, so that was an epic fail.
okay.
Yeah, so apparently those snorkels are even banned on the island of Maui. Who knew?
Really?
Yeah,
And you've been using these things
we've been
for
using
years,
them for years. Yep,
but you haven't died
we haven't
yet.
died. Yeah. The other big tip I would say is, you don't need to pack any towels from home. You can go down to the pool that morning and show them, like, get your wristband and get pool towels and take them with you. So when you park your car, there's actually a towel return right there. So as long as you bring the towels back, you can take them off property. Um, so that
That's
was
awesome.
good. Um, so that night we had a reservation for a sunset sail that we booked. Again, this is another third party activity that we booked. We were really excited for it, and it was terrible weather. Like the waves were very intense, and Lindsay got really seasick. Um, Lanham was just laying out on the front of the catamaran, and he was fine. But I think it could have been really, really awesome if it would have been smoother sailing. It did not go very well for her. They gave us complimentary cocktails and a charcuterie board. I thought it was really nice, but um, also on Monday night, there's a DVC exclusive celebration. We didn't know that when we booked the sunset sail. I think I would have done the DVC thing instead, but
Oh,
anyway, I'm just skipping through here, just trying to find some other highlights. Oh, one thing you're always gonna hear about when people go to Oahu is Kahlua Ranch. This is like the where they filmed Jurassic Park and all the other movies. It's a 4,000-acre private nature park that's run by this sixth-generation family. We did a UTV tour there, so that was awesome. Views were incredible. It's on the other side of the island, so it's like an hour and a half away, but completely worth it. Beautiful, lush green, absolutely incredible. You get super dirty. They give you like the bandanas to wear over your face.
oh,
'Cause I mean, even your ears are dirty. Like you're just gross. You get really gross and dirty because you're driving a UTV. So lots of movie references. If you're a movie person, you'd love it. So that was really cool. And then and I'll finish with this. We finished by that day by we got this app called Shaka Tour. And you turn the app on and you ride around the island and he tells you places to stop and interesting things about the island. So it's like a Rick Steves for Hawaii. But it was phenomenal. And we really loved listening to him and listening to all the stories and information. And he would have you be like, go forward for about 100 yards. Now take a right here. And then all of a sudden you're going to see this, whatever it may be. I would highly recommend downloading this app if you want to spend any time outside of the resort because it was a really cool. I mean, we just saw and heard things we never would have found on our own. So,
yeah.
um,
That's really cool. So you download the app and then he just kinda geolocates as you go along and
yeah,
tells you
yeah,
what to
and I mean,
know
it
where you're at.
costs.
That's amazing.
The app costs money. I forget how much, but it was completely
Yeah.
worth it. Completely worth it.
Hmm.
We did have another snorkel day. This one was much better. We went to a place called Hanama Bay. You book reservations for this one 2 days in advance. It's run by the Hawaii State Park. We had a little bit of an issue because parking was cash only, and we had no cash with us, so that was a little bit of a hiccup. But the snorkeling was incredible, and they offered the two-piece snorkels there, so we ended up renting those. We used our own fins, but rented their snorkels. We saw the state fish, which I can't pronounce. It's got 95 letters in it, and it's like a rainbow beautiful fish. And then we saw big, huge fish that were probably 2 feet long in these gorgeous, beautiful colors. I mean, tons and tons and tons and tons of fish. I didn't see any turtles, but it was pretty awesome. So, highly recommend that. We did more shaka touring that night. Um, ate at a Leo room again. Um, just cool things around the island and around the resort. The couple of things that they offered on the resort we didn't get to do that I would wanna do, next time is there's a fire pit storytelling that happens on various nights. I think little kids would have really enjoyed that, but I think I would have really enjoyed it, and it just the timing didn't work out ever. Characters were also really hard to meet. They don't release the character meet and greets until 9 a.m. that day, and because you're booking so many things out, like, 6 months in advance or 30 days in advance, you're booking activities, you don't know what characters are gonna come out until 9 a.m. that morning, so, like, Lindsay really wanted to meet Angel, Stitch's girlfriend, and, the 2 days that she was out were 2 days that
Okay.
we had excursions. So that kinda stunk, like, there's
Oh,
the you can't do anything about that, right? Like, it's just timing and it didn't work. Duffy and friends are out there, and that's really big for the, Japanese, clientele. I never got into Duffy, so, um, there's a private meet and greet with Moana for DVC members that we didn't get to do, again, because we were out on those days. So, again, there's really a lot
mm,
of cool things to do at the resort that we just ran out of time to do, which seems crazy. We were there for 9 nights and 10 days, but there's just so much to do on the island and around the island that you just can't do it all.
yeah. No, that's an amazing amount of time, though. I didn't realize you guys were there for so long. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We ate a
Now,
lot of poke and a lot of fish, very few vegetables. I didn't have one salad.
oh, well, that's impressive.
Mhm.
That does sound perfect, though, having delicious seafood for a week and a half.
Lots
Wow.
of rice.
Now, do you feel like someone could yeah, that too. The sticky rice, that's the best.
Mhm. It was really good.
Now, do you feel like you really needed 10 days, or is it a place a family could go for less time and still be able to get a good experience?
I wouldn't go for any less than 7 if you were planning on doing excursions and leaving the resort. I really wouldn't. First of all, it takes so long to get out there and to get back. Like, if you're going for
Yeah.
like we said, we went for 9 nights, but really 2 of our days were gone. So, like, we got there so late the first night and we left that Friday at our flight was at 12:20. So, you kinda almost lose 2 days there. So, um, maybe if I lived on the West Coast and it was easier to get over there and the time difference was only 3 hours, maybe I would pop over for a shorter period of time. I don't know. But coming from the East
Yeah.
Coast, yeah,
No, that's tough because I didn't think about the time change. 6 hours, that takes they say what, an hour a day it takes or a day per hour it takes to get used to it. You get used to it, and then you come home and have to go back the other
yeah,
direction. That's
yeah,
a lot to deal with, especially with kids and teenagers have their internal clock and it's already screwy.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
And
tough.
I was shocked on how many babies there were there. Like, I mean, I know there are families and lots of little kids. I expected that, but I would just think with maybe you just keep them on their regular schedule. I don't know, but maybe that's why the resort is quiet by 9:30 every night because everybody's asleep. They're trying to keep on their normal schedule. So
Mm, that's good though. I love when people bring babies on vacation. They're actually the easiest kids to travel with. They just sit
yeah.
in their stroller and you're good. Ah, well, anything else you want to share, Jody, about the resort or other things to do in the area?
I mean, I most certainly am not the expert, but I did, like I said, I did a lot of research. I did some things right, I did some things wrong, and I did some things that I wish I would have done a little differently. But if anybody wants my notes or my planning guide that I made or anything like that, feel free to PM me. I'm happy to share it. I would just say if you have the chance, go for it. Like I said, the point value is very reasonable. We got a lot of bang for our buck with our points out there. Um, they're all I feel like they're always doing a 25% off or 30% off or something if you want to book a cash room. I don't know what those rooms look like, but I know they're
Mm,
always running those type of deals. But I absolutely for people who are not beach vacation people, we absolutely love this vacation. It was great. It was kind of cruise line-ish to us though, because we would be at the resort, then go do an excursion, then be at the resort, and then go, so we kind of
yeah.
felt cruise line.
Hmm.
And the
But I
staff was
think the way you
incredible.
guys did it is awesome. Yeah. No, that's great. And you got the experiences also got to go and see some of the island and experience some of the local culture and stuff that, if you stay in the resort all the time, I don't think you don't get that.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I think that's a perfect way to do it. All right. Well, thanks, Jody, for sharing about your trip. It sounds awesome, and I think we're all jealous because I think everybody wants to go to Hawaii. I mean, why
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
if
It's
you
beautiful.
can, I'd highly and like I said, John, there's a direct flight from Detroit. So,
I know that's perfect. And anytime I ask Kara, my oldest daughter, where she wants to go, it's Hawaii. So yeah, I gotta get on that. Maybe make it a graduation present for her, which will be nice because then I can justify not taking all the other kids
you
because
could.
it's a graduation present.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be amazing. Let her bring a friend, and then I could just sit on the beach all day, and they can go do kid stuff. I don't know.
And it's a
It sounds
really some parts of the island are I'm just gonna be
perfect.
really honest, maybe not the safest, but Ko'olina is super safe. Like, when you pull into Ko'olina proper, there's a security guard there at like, to not that they were checking every
Okay.
single car and every guest, but it is very safe down there. Like, I went running one time at 5 in the morning, and it was dark, and I felt perfectly fine. So, it is a safe area.
Okay. That's good to know. All right. Well, awesome. I'm so glad you guys had a good time. That's amazing that it worked out that you guys could meet up with Scotty G and his
It was so
family.
fun.
That's really cool, especially because you guys are close enough with them that when I saw the pictures and stuff, like, oh, they must have planned this.
No, everyone thinks
Huh,
that. I'm like, "Actually, no, we I mean, it worked out awesome, and we're so excited," but, yeah, that
yeah,
we did not actually plan it. Now, once we figured out that we were all going at the same time, we ended up making plans together, but,
yeah.
we didn't actually plan the trip.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Why that's wild. Huh. Amazing. All right. So we're gonna move into the next segment now. You got a lot of good information about Aulani. Everybody, pause this, go book your trips, and then come back, and we're gonna try to quack you up. So, Jody, we'll let you go first tonight, and you can try to quack up our amazing audience.
Well, in Hawaii, there's obviously lots of really delicious fresh fruit, and the one that they're known for is pineapple. Like I said, we even went to the Dole plantation, so made me think. John, do you know why did the pineapple stop in the middle of the road?
I don't know why.
It ran out of juice.
Oh boy. All
Yes.
right. Well, while you were talking about the luau and stuff, it got me thinking about hula hoops and like hula dancing and all that stuff, but mostly hula hoops. And I thought, like, what do you get if you cross a hula hoop with a boxer?
A hula hoop with a boxer.
Hawaiian punch.
That's good. I like that one.
Which, as a child of the late '80s, early '90s, Hawaiian punch was amazing when you got that in your lunchbox. So yeah, I was excited when I found that joke.
That was a
Um,
good
all
one.
right,
I'm proud of you. Good
cool.
job, John.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Again, if you could give us a 5-star review, we'd really appreciate it. Come over to our Facebook page, Disney with the Ducks, and join the group and have some fun discussions about Disney. Post some pictures of your trips or talk about upcoming plans. We can get some good discussions going over there. So, thank you again, everybody. We don't have Gene here, so we're probably going to get sued for this episode.
Probably.
But
But
that's okay
Jeff's not on it,
because
so
this isn't. Yeah, that's fair. And Jeff's our accountant, so it works out. He'll get sued. But thanks everybody for listening, and Kwaherini.
Shaka.